This is a face of the day for the 7th of April 2017. I'm going to start off with my NYX HD base, which I haven't used for a while because I thought I'd lost it, but in fact I'd given mine to my mum because I knew I had a spare, but I didn't want to open my spare because I thought I'd find my other one. It's true baby brain for you there. What I've been going to most days at the moment, because we've got builders in, because I'm quite heavily pregnant, I've got 2 children, I want something that I just know I'm going to work, and so I've been using my Louise Young eye trios. This is Festival, and this is very pretty if you've got green or blue eyes. And this is Studio 54. This colour, this is the one I'm going to use. This colour looks really white, and I don't know if you can see, it's got gold flecks in it, so it looks like it's going to be really pale, but it isn't. It's beautifully gold tinged, so it's just a really pretty colour. I tend to, as with everything, I'm really slapdash, so I tend to put this all over the sort of movable part of the lid and slightly up into the socket. I'm going to go in with Chic. Mostly on the outer corner. And this is a really lovely palette for springtime because it's not too heavy, the colours. And then I'm just going to buff out the top edge. Now what I tend to do at the moment is put some of this, which is the L'Oreal Superliner Perfect Slim, right in the root of the lashes. And not all the way along, just where your lashes start to get thick. So mine start to get thick about here. I'm then going to do the top waterline with Smolder from MAC. And then I'm going to get one of my favourite brushes, which is LY16. And I think hopefully you can see it's just a really nice stubby brush, and I'm going to use this sort of green, and I'm going to use that as a liner, and I'm going to start off by running it along on top of the black. What I really love about this is that I'm, as you know, a black liner obsessive, and this is dark enough that it still has the definition, but it's kind of cool to have a different colour. And green is my favourite colour. Now adding this green liner is the thing I take my time on, because I just sort of smudge and blend it into the lashes and build it up. Then in with my mascara. I was about to put this in my empties. This is Elizabeth Arden Double Density Maximum Volume Mascara, and it's sample size, and I can't remember how or when I got it, but I opened it, tried it, put it in a drawer years ago. Well, not years ago, about a year ago. Forgot about it, and so I took it out and I thought, oh, it's too old and probably really dried out, so I'm going to put it in my empties bag. And then I used it and I really like it, and I'm sort of sad that I didn't use it sooner, because I'm sure it has dried out quite a lot, and I have just bought myself some new mascara, so if I tried this and I hadn't just bought myself some new mascara, I probably would go and buy the big version of this. It has a old-fashioned bristly brush, and it does take a while to put on, because I think because it's old and dry, but it really thickens your lashes. And I just really love the finished look you get. So has anyone else tried this? I always feel like Elizabeth Arden, they don't get a lot of love from beauty bloggers and stuff, so I think they've got non-beauty blogger dedicated users, as it were, but you don't really hear people raving about it. But my foundation I'm going to use is the Daniel Sana Invisible Radiance. Technically I think I am porcelain, which is really pale, but I like to warm it up a bit with a bit of beige. And I like to apply this foundation with my fingers. I just find that that's the way I get the best finish with it. And it does have a beautiful finish. And it feels really lovely and soft on the skin, which I think is kind of underrated. What I really love about these is that in the top you get a matching concealer, and the concealer is really nice. Now I try and only put concealer where I have darkness, but I do have darkness all the way along, which is frustrating. So I try and put the majority of it in the inside corner, and then I kind of blend it out so that you have a really light coverage there, because that is where the wrinkles are. But this is a nice light concealer, so it doesn't sit too badly in the wrinkles. And as this is an everyday look, and I don't really care too much what the builders think I look like, I don't correct every day because I want to keep as light a coverage as possible. So I'm using that under my eyes and around my nose and a bit on my chin, which is always a bit red. And then on my blemishes I'm going to start with the Charlotte Tilbury Retoucher, just because it has good things in it. So if you have to put stuff on your blemishes, it's quite nice to know that you've got something going on that's got a bit of good in it. Although sometimes I need to top it up with something with a bit more pigment, but that's fine for today. Quite often, I'm doing a brush post on the blog at the moment. It'll go up before this video, so I'll put a link to it below. You get a brush, or you get a set of brushes, and it doesn't work for quite what you want it to work for. So I'm just setting this with my Laura Mercier. And I always think if that's the case, don't lose hope, because it will work for something else. Now, I was given this from Eco Tools, which is the micro blending brush, and they recommend it for concealer, and for me it's just too soft for concealer, and almost the bristles are almost too long. But what I really love it for is setting my concealer with a fine loose powder, which this is the Cover FX one, because it's so light and flat on the top that you can place it on, it will cover the whole area, and it's soft enough that it's not going to move. You don't want something that's going to move the concealer that you've spent time applying, especially for blemishes. And then it's big enough, so I've done my blemishes, but I also put concealer on my chin and around my nose, and it's big enough that you can then just go, ooh, and that's all set. So I'm really pleased with this brush. Because the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder is brightening, you don't want to put that on your spots because you're basically highlighting to people where you've concealed. And so I was always sort of trying to get as much of that off this brush before I used another powder. And this one is doing the job perfectly, so I'm really pleased with that. So now I've done my under eyes, I'm going to get this, which is another one of my favourites, which is the LY13. And I'm going to go in with, firstly, a bit of the brown along under the lash line. And then what's left on this brush that I was doing the green with, right in by the lashes. On the outer corner mostly. Then when my eyeshadow has sat a bit, as you know, I like my hourglass to just lift the edge a bit. On the lower lashes I'm going to use the Clinique Bottom Lash Mascara. Tenderly from Ilia on my cheeks. And on the top of that, a tiny bit of this and a tiny bit of this. So that is Luminous Flush and Mood Exposure from this palette. They are quite pigmented, so I don't like to use too much because I then look like a clown. And then I'm going to just use a blending brush to just blend that in, because I applied my foundation with my hands. I would normally do this with my foundation brush just to buff out the edges. You need to do something, because I've powdered here, everything's going to have a slight layer, so you just want to buff the edges a bit. I'm not huge on highlighter, but it is nice to keep your skin looking fresh. This is Sway from Ilia, which I just put a tiny bit of on this fan brush, which is a highlighter brush, but I prefer really a really fine highlighter brush. But this will do. And then I'm going to set most of it with a mix of dimmed and diffused light from this palette, but mostly down the centre of the face, and then I always set here because it's here where I balance my phone and things. On the lip, something which I used to be able to get NYX years ago in the UK, and I used to bulk buy this. This is the just NYX gloss in 22 Natural. I'm so pleased I did, because I still have it in my kit. And I just think it beats all their other lip glosses that they're so famous for now, because it is such a pretty natural colour. So that is it. Really easy face of the day. Such a fantastic little palette from Louise. I think she has 4 of these eyeshadow palettes, so go and check it out. What I really love about Studio 54 is it's kind of unusual. I don't know many people that would go and put these 3 colours together if you were making your own palette, but it looks really good, and it would suit all skin tones. So go and have a look. All the products will be listed below. If you haven't already, then do subscribe to my channel. Go and check the blog out. There'll be a link to that below. And thank you so much for watching.